Hello. How are you, Alf?
G'day, Bruce.
Good to see you. A lot of people have been asking what happened on the Salt, which is a very good question. So why don't we tell them, Alf?
Bruce, it was like a dream come true.
Well, it was amazing. You've seen some of the videos, but we've got a lot more videos to come. Let's start from the very beginning.
All right, what, the arduous trip over there?
Well,
Leaving the afternoon of Saturday after doing a dyno and driving all night and all day and all night to get there?
Saturday is designed to be scrutineering day. Friday and Saturday scrutineering day, and on Saturday we were
In Melbourne,
on the dyno.
at Rex's.
Yes, thank you, Rex.
Thank you,
Great
Rex.
job. Saturday night,
We drove all night. We left in the afternoon on Saturday, like late afternoon actually, and we just left and we drove to...
in our Ford Transit van from
Thank you.
Ford.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Ford.
much,
Thank you,
Ford
Ford.
Australia, for the transit van. We did a 24-hour with 3 drivers, non-stop, only stopping for diesel and food, sustenance. It was a long 24
We
hours.
ran out of fuel as well, remember?
Oh,
In the
yes.
Adelaide Hills, we're looking for a petrol station in the middle of the night somewhere.
Always a challenge. Anyway, we got to Port Augusta and got a few last minute things that we'd remembered, we'd forgotten off the list. Gathered up all of our food supplies, because once you leave the bitumen, you are in no man's land. You've got to take everything with you, bring it all back. So that was Port Augusta.
Yep.
And we headed off down across, 150 miles, thousands of kilometres of corrugated dirt road.
Yeah.
And
In the middle of nowhere, beautiful countryside. Nothing
That's
but
right.
goats, snakes, and what else?
And
vultures? Are there vultures out there, Bruce?
Probably. And there's a salt lake. So we got to the salt lake just before sunset, in the evening sunshine, with the sun sinking
Sunday.
slowly in the west of Sunday.
Setting up camp, rocks everywhere, Bruce.
Yeah, that's right. So we set up camp. Then we had Monday to try and set up the tent, the garage.
The pits.
Yes.
Set up the pits on the salt.
And get our credentials and everything. It's a big pantomime.
All that paperwork.
But it's a volunteer organisation, Dry Lake Australia, and they do such a great job.
God, mate, they're a great bunch of blokes and girls.
Yeah, Monday, we thought we had everything sorted out.
Yeah. Just a simple matter of taking the bike over to scrutineering.
What could be simpler? Take the bike out the back, set the tent up, put the oil prevention layer down on the salt, and get the bike ready and over to scrutineering. Monday night, guess what? It rained.
But wait a minute, but we still had to work on the bike. It didn't pass scrutineering initially.
Well, it didn't pass our scrutineering, which was more the point, because we had to get everything that we'd put in the truck onto the bike and do the final assembly.
That's right.
Which was put the fairing on, etc., etc.
Yeah, making stuff too. Our friend welded for us too.
Yeah, we found out we had a couple of things that didn't survive the journey, so we got some welding done from our mate across the road. Thank you very much. Did a great job. He had a great bike over there.
Yeah.
So we got
artisan.
Yeah, that's right. So we got that welded up, and when we got there, despite all of our planning and list making, we found out that we had a few things missing.
Yep.
So we were managed to do a bit of horse trading.
Bruce, with his gift of the gab, went over there. He's got the front of Myers, this man, going over trading stuff, begging and borrowing, and like finally we got everything we needed. What do we trade?
Our
Batteries.
next door neighbours, Team Venom, g'day Bob, and all the guys, Luca and Jacob and the whole crew there. They were running quite a few vehicles. In fact, Ben Felton, Blind Speed,
We'll call him a blind speed demon.
Yeah, that's right. So he was operating with Team Venom as well. So they needed a few things that fortunately we had, and we had what we needed. We managed to borrow off them. So it worked out really well. 2 thumbs up. The camaraderie of Salt Lake racing, fantastic. So that got us to tick all the boxes for scrutineering, but we still needed to get the bike over there. And like I say, one of the most beautiful things that's ever happened in my life, it rained on the salt.
It was beautiful, but terrible at the same time because it stopped racing. We weren't able to get onto the racetrack for
2 days.
2 days.
They wouldn't let us back on until Thursday.
Well, no one, because it was, it's too soft and wet, and there was wet patches and puddles and that.
We got a video up there of what it looked like on the salt, so enjoy that. We certainly was amazed by the beauty of it all, and disappointed as everyone else was. But one of the amazing things is that what they have, about 800 something odd people registered a race, and only 3/4 of them managed to actually get a race.
Well, they left because of the rain.
So we count ourselves very fortunate that we got to race. Anyway, that's not the story. What happened next was Thursday.
Well,
we got
the sun came out, didn't it? The track was dry enough, according to the people out there. Animal, for one, he's in charge down there. And he said, the call came out, the track's open and come on down and, get in line.
So we went down there and we presented ourselves and the truck and the bike, because everything, people, equipment, the support vehicle, and the actual race vehicle itself needs to be signed off for safety.
And the race wear.
Yep, all of that.
Leathers, helmet, gloves, everything had to be up to scratch.
Because safety is paramount out there on the salt.
Well done, guys. Thank you for keeping it safe for so long.
And so we had a few backwards and forwards, but we passed the safety test. Whew, that was huge.
Yeah, and then we got in line eventually.
And we got online.
And there was like a big line, everyone waiting for their turn. And the sun was blistering, scorching down. You were dressed in your leathers with your hat.
35 degrees in the leathers, scorching sunshine, white salt.
Taking turns holding an umbrella for him.
And it was it was not easy. But so we had, 600 people lined up to race, cars and bikes. Because of the wetness of the salt, there was only one track and not two. It took a long time. Everyone was very patient. Like I say, it's a volunteer organisation, and it was a superb effort. We did find a problem before we lined up though, and that was that our high volume racing petrol tap leaked. That's not good. So we had to swap it over for a standard tap that we knew was going to have trouble passing all of the gas that it needed for us to run at full throttle. So
we had no other choice but to
we didn't have a choice. If we were going to have a run, we had to do it with what we had. And you think you take spares of everything: carbies, throttle cables, clutch plates, valve springs, pistons, exhaust pipes, ignition systems, alternators, regulators, sprockets, chains, wheels.
And we did have two of those, but one of them failed and the other one wasn't that great, really.
So the corrugated road put paint. Anyway, so we've got another solution now. We've got an American Pingle, thank you, for ballistic racing, rolled out there.
That's pretty trick.
Very trick, yes. That's capable of a sub 5 second pass over a quarter mile, and we're hoping that will go and influence our eventual time when we get to run at full throttle. But, so there was Thursday, we get to the front of the queue, we got within 10 vehicles of the front of the queue to have a run on Thursday, and
they shut the track.
Time out. Someone appealed against the light. Thank you very much. But anyway, it was all good because they said, if you're down here before dawn, tomorrow morning, Friday.
Get to keep your spot.
Yes, and Friday, half a day racing, not a full day.
Yeah.
So we still had hundreds of people wanting to run and do what they'd come and spent a whole year to do.
Yeah, but we were within 10 of the start.
So we were going to be up front, so that's good. So we got down, yawn, we got down, dressed in the leathers, out of bed, jumped into the leathers, rattled our way down onto the lake in the dark, and saw dawn on the lake, which was
stunning.
Thank you, Dawn. And
there's pictures of it all. Just have a look at it. Little films, little pictures, little descriptions. There's even a poem.
That's right. It's all of that. So I got to ride the bike first. So I think around about about 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, like 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Managed to get the first run done, and it went really well. Hit 91 miles an hour, which I thought I'll go as fast as I can and then see how the carby fills up with it. Anyway, it ran out of juice. It ran the carby bowl.
So it drove his average speed down
to.
What did you end up?
I ended up with something like 68 miles an hour.
Coughing and spluttering.
Was the average speed. and came out the other end basically rolling out the end of the mile.
Yeah.
So I knew that wasn't very good. Now, normally you go back to impound and scrutineering, but we had a very fortunate play of things, and so they had an impound at the end of the salt lake.
Yeah, rather than taking it all the way back to the pits.
That's right. So that allowed for a lot more passes in that morning. This was on track 2.
So you got your second pass pretty quick.
Yeah,
It was
went
like
back, did
that-
second pass, but didn't get to check the bike over. So normally you get to check the oil, the tappets and all that sort of stuff, see how everything's going, make sure the ignition advance is right, and check for the leanness running on the carburetor. We didn't get a chance to do any of that.
None of that.
So
He just ran his set, but he knew something about the bike the second run.
That's right.
And you put in a better run.
So then, well, I thought that I could do a better run if I went in running at half throttle, and then possibly, if it didn't run out of juice, build up a little bit of speed towards the end. And sadly, my plan didn't come off. So I ended up doing worse. I think I only averaged something like 64 miles an hour, which was, I was very disappointed with that. But last week in the mail came the fact that it was, in fact, an Australian land speed record, WooHoo, and the average speed was better than and faster than an average ST250, 68.109.
Which is an Australian record, Bruce.
Australian record, WooHoo, on half throttle. So that was my. Then it was get Alf onto the bike and get his 2 runs in,
Yep.
because now it was
my turn.
It was about
And
10:30.
I had intel. We spoke about how the run went and everything, and I decided to adopt a different methodology. So I felt that I would go for as much as I could get out of the bike.
And Alf had the bike registered in a different class of racing.
Yes, that's right.
Different class, not competing against one another,
we don't.
racing for ourselves.
We do that, yeah. So anyway, so I decided that I would feed the throttle on gradually and sort of just feather it more and more and more and more. And to tell you the truth, the first run was really my rookie run. I didn't really know what to expect on the salt, but it turned out to be quite a fast run. And
now, I think the reason why he went so fast is because Alf didn't do his run like I did on track 2. Alf was on track 1, where you've got to be able to do more than 125 miles an hour to be on track 1.
And there's my certificate, fastest ever. But unfortunately,
Not only, so you only got 1 run in because we ran out of time, because they shut the track down at lunchtime. Very sad, because Alf's run not only set was a time fast enough to run an Australian land speed record in the class, but Alf, what else was it?
a world record.
Fastest bike in the world in that class ever. Sadly, only 1 run, but you've got the certificate to prove it. Someone else has got to go, high five Alf. Someone else has got to go faster to try and beat Alf. So that's worlds. So you've climbed Mount Everest.
Well, I did 2 runs to make it official though.
And we're going back next year to go full throttle.
That's it. And the bike wasn't running as well as it could, really. There's a lot left in the tank, Bruce. We think
We had a lot of juice left in the tank because we couldn't run at full throttle.
Yeah. So with my run, the other thing I want to say is that we have a temperature gauge on the head, to make sure it doesn't run too hot. Because in testing previously, other iterations of motors, I am kind of guilty of melting a piston.
That's testing.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do that again on the salt, and I was keeping my eyes on that temperature. And I ended up thinking, oh well, I'll see how far I can get. Ended up getting to the 4 mile stage, and the temperature was creeping up to over 120 degrees. Anyone that knows that is enough to start melting pistons. So then I just pulled off the track and came back, thinking that we needed to richen up the mixture, and I was thinking that we could tweak it a little bit before I could take my second run. But of course, we ran out of time.
Very sad. But we pulled the motor down when we brought it back, and inside the motor, it looked
Beautiful, actually.
beautiful, yeah. So it was spot on. So right mixture, right everything. If only we could have got enough juice into that carby bowl through that mischievous tap, Who knows?
Who knows?
The world record is what we're going for next year.
Yeah.
105 miles an hour. That's like 170 kilometres an hour to be the fastest 250 push rod anywhere in the world.
Yeah, because we were in that class. I was in gas, and you were in.
I
was in fuel, and you were in gas.
I was in gas. That's right.
Ultra
Unleaded
streamlined.
fuel and juice. Open class
fuel.
juice.
Yeah.
So that's it. So thank you for watching, and follow us because we're probably going to be taking 2 bikes over next year.
Yeah, well, that's the plan is, but we'll build one at a time. Make sure that we don't run out of time to do 2. We'll finish one, and then if we have time, we'll do a second one because we've got 2 motors. We've got one that's even more modified. Bruce, you want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yes, we're going back. We're going to have a bigger valves. We're going to have a bathtub head, higher compression head, and so we've got a straighter inlet tract. We're going to be. There is a possibility we might even go fuel injection, but one step at a time.
Yep.
We think that we've got. We haven't run this engine at full throttle.
Yeah, so we want to see what we can get out of the original engine
Yep.
because we haven't really fully utilised the development of it.
I
Because
think we might break a world record with that engine.
Well,
Who knows where the new engine will take us? Maybe to the moon. Moon equipped. There we go. So that's so many people have asked the question, how did we go? That's how we went.
Yeah.
And we're going back again. So follow us all the way. Thank you very much, all the sponsors. We couldn't have done it without you. And probably the preview, the little bit of tidbit for those that weren't going to watch right to the very end. If we do the World Land Speed Record in Lake Gardner next year, we're going to take the bike and our own sorry butts across to Bonneville and do it over there.
That's
That's
right.
going to be a lot of fun.
well,
So
that was
follow us all the way.
the gauntlet was thrown down by the Affleck race team, wasn't it?
Exactly.
They kind of jokingly said, well, if you guys get over 100 miles an hour, you can come with us to Bonneville. So we're going to take up that challenge.
There we go. So 100 mile an hour, 105 mile an hour, we'll break a world record, and then we'll take the crew along with Team Affleck across, and we'll do Bonneville in August 2024.
That's
Woohoo!
it. Woohoo! Bonneville, the spiritual home of land speed racing.
In the spirit of Burt Munro.
Burt Munro, our hero.
See you guys, and don't forget to stay connected. Movember, helping men live longer. Love yous all. Thank you for following us, subscribe, and all the rest of it. Hit the gong, and we'll see you next time. Follow us to the salt. Woohoo!
Bye.